Hey YouTube, Wes here checking in with a brand new video for you. Hope you all are doing well, staying safe, staying healthy, enjoying this springtime weather we've been having. Yeah, so we're just gonna go ahead and jump into this. As you can see from the title, this is the thread that's been going around that people have been calling the quarantine thread, but I don't like this thread has a question about pet peeves, and one of my pet peeves is that people are calling what we're doing quarantine. It's not quarantine. We're socially distancing. We're physically distancing. We're not socially distancing. We have ways of connecting. We're connecting right here, like on this video right now. So yeah, it's all kinds of misused terms and misused words related to this. I'm going to go ahead and rename this the Stay the F at Home and Listen to Records thread, because that's what we're doing. We're staying the fuck at home, flattening the curve and doing all that kind of stuff. Only going out for necessities and staying healthy and keeping our medical system, medical staff from being overloaded, and yeah, trying not to die. So anyway, let's go ahead and get into this thread, the Stay the F at Home and Listen to Records thread. Let's go ahead and jump into it. The first question, favorite record from your home state or city. I've talked about this record before. This is from my favorite Gainesville band, recent Gainesville band, and that is the group Morning Bell. And this is their final album, or their latest album. They've broken up, but it may not be over. But this is their album Boa Night. Boa, Boanoite. Boa Nui, Boa Night. I don't know exactly how to pronounce it. But yeah, Morning Bell are a post-rock group. As I said, from my hometown here in Gainesville, Florida. Really great group. This is I don't know, I always fight with people on what's a concept album and what's not a concept album. This album definitely has a theme to it, which I like. Very one of those albums that you sit down and you want to listen to the whole thing as one sort of piece. Really enjoyable post-rock kind of group. I know you can find this on Spotify and whatnot. If you wanted to hear it, I do highly recommend it. Checking out Morning Bell, and this is their most recent group, Boa Nui, Boa Night. Whatever. I should ask what's the pronunciation of this next time I see one of the members. But yeah, that's my favorite album from Gainesville. Okay, question number 2, an album you highly recommend, or an album I highly recommend. This is one you'll find in thrift stores, garage sales, estate sales, all that kind of stuff. One that everyone should have in their collection, in my opinion. That's Harry Belafonte's Belafonte at Carnegie Hall. Just a killer live set. American folk music, American folk standards, mixed with folk music from around the world. Really awesome live concert. And yeah, make sure, or not, if you can, try to find the living stereo version. Really great living stereo recording on this one. As I said, a cheap album, inexpensive album, and one everyone really should have. And you should at least give this a try. So, Harry Belafonte at Carnegie Hall, an album I highly recommend. Okay, question number 3, a tip for a beginner. And I've been thinking about this one for a while, and what I decided as my tip for a beginner is come up with a plan, come up with a way to clean your records. Particularly if you mainly buy thrift store records, used records. Definitely you want to be cleaning your records, because there's a lot of years of dirt and grime accumulated on the surface that can not only cause poor sound quality, but can also damage your equipment, damage your stylus and whatnot, and damage the records themselves. So absolutely, records need to be cleaned. New records need to be cleaned. I always at least run new records through the Spin Clean. This is a great thing to pick up if you're new to collecting, if you're new to collecting and you need a way to clean records. This is a great way to start out with the Spin Clean. It's inexpensive. It does a good job. It's excellent for new records. I still use this just for new records. pressing plants are not exactly the cleanest places in the world. New records are dirty. Used records are even dirtier. Sometimes used records require some more extensive cleaning than this can really do well. But this is a great start, great way to start. So yeah, absolutely. If you're new to collecting vinyl, figure out a way to clean your records thoroughly, not more, beyond just using like a carbon fiber brush or something. You really need to figure out a way to do some sort of wet kind of cleaning, because that's very important to do, and you will find greatly improved sound quality and greatly improved life of your equipment and records. So clean your freaking records. They're dirty. Clean them. We're doing a lot of cleaning lately as this pandemic has swept us all. So records are dirty. Clean them. Okay, question number 4. First record that got you deeper into music, and I really struggled with this one because there's not one record that I can point to and say, yeah, that was the one. It seems like it's a slow sort of stair step sort of thing that each time you sort of get deeper and deeper as you explore more obscure music, obscure groups. The first record that really sort of I felt was my own thing, my own sort of discovery, not my parents' music. It was just something that struck me and something that sort of launched a lifelong passion for hip-hop music, is Run DMC's Raising Hell. When I heard this, it blew my mind. I was basically 9 when this came out. Just hearing these songs on the radio, and that was really my first time hearing hip-hop in general. This song really sort of got me into my, exploring music, exploring hip-hop, and it launched sort of the next 25 years of nothing but hip-hop for me. Run DMC's Raising Hell. Okay, question number 5 is an obscure record people may not know about. This is a difficult question, difficult one to answer, but I decided to pick out this one. I haven't spun this in a while. This is the C in the Cake, or the C and Cake, the Moonlit Butterfly. C and Cake are a post-rock group as well. Really, really nice, lush, sort of quiet, kind of peaceful, great music. The title track is a really cool sort of synthy electronic piece. It's very much different from the rest of the album. But yeah, great post-rock group here. The C and Cake Moonlit Butterfly. That's an obscure album people may not know about, even though this was recently reissued in the last couple of years, so it might be more well-known now. But yeah, definitely an excellent album. Question number 6, a group who you collect all of their albums or try to. There's not really any group or artist that I really try to collect everything of. There are artists that if they put out something new, I'll buy. So the first one I picked out here, Beach House. Anytime Beach House puts out something new, I'm pretty much automatically going to buy it. Don't need to hear it before I buy it. I'm just going to buy it. Another artist that I'm pretty much automatically going to buy is Perfume Genius. This is his third album, I believe, Too Bright, from 2014, yeah. His new one is on the way. It should be delivered here in the next couple of days. Just came out on Friday. I've already streamed that digitally, and yeah, I like it a lot. It's definitely some of his strongest work in a while. I've not been the biggest fan of his past couple albums, but definitely love this one. This is my favorite of his so far, and I'm looking forward to hearing the new one on vinyl. So Perfume Genius is another artist I will automatically buy. And another group that I will automatically buy when they put out something new is the Flaming Lips. And I'm not a completist on the Flaming Lips. The Flaming Lips have a ton of releases. They just, and there's all kinds of really rare stuff with the Flaming Lips, and they do a lot of limited runs of things and limited versions, and I'm just not into getting that far down into the weeds on any artist at all. But if they put out a new studio album, wide release kind of thing, I'm gonna automatically grab it. So Flaming Lips is the third one, the third artist that I try to collect most everything of. You know, whenever they put out something new, I'm gonna buy it. All right, question number 7: a band whose second album is better than their first. I decided to go with Alan Parsons Project, and this is their second album, I, Robot, from 1977, my birth year, so that's going to come up again later on in this video. But yeah, Tales of Mystery and Imagination, it's a good album. I like I, Robot better. I, Robot is probably my favorite of the Alan Parsons Project album. Eye in the Sky is probably second for me, so Tales of Mystery and Imagination is kind of down in the list for me. But yeah, this is killer. Another one it's more difficult to find cheap, but you're going to see it occasionally in dollar bins and thrift stores and whatnot, and definitely one to check out. Awesome album. I haven't spun this in a while, and I think I'm going to play this before I put it away. So Alan Parsons Project, I, Robot, best second album, or second album that's better than the first. Okay, next up we have the Whack-A-Mole. This is my first time doing a Whack-A-Mole, and I've got about 21 sort of cubes back here, so I thought to be more random, I use a random number generator on my phone. So we're gonna, I got 1 through 21 here, and I'm gonna hit this 3 times. Try to hit this 3 times. 2, 2. Okay, so hopefully that's not too blown out. Number 12 is what we're going to go for, so I'm going to pick out of bin number 12, or cube number 12. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So somewhere down here, and you can actually sort of see this, so that's good. That was a good number. We're going to pick, how about this? Okay. Here is a early compilation of the Moody Blues. Really nice compilation of their music. If you're not a huge fan of the Moody Blues, but you want to put on something that's pretty nice, then yeah, this is a good one to pick up. Find this one in the dollar bin and thrift stores all the time. Not hard to find, and it's got a lot of great music on here. All the great classic Moody Blues stuff from Days of Future Past and To Our Children's Children, and Question of Balance, On the Threshold of a Dream. You know, all these albums here on the front. So yeah, that's my first Whack-A-Mole. Question number 9: what album have you listened to the most in your life? Ever since I became an adult, I haven't really spent a lot of time listening to any particular album. When I was, a teenager, I didn't have a lot of income. I wasn't able to buy a lot of new music, so that was when I spent the most time listening to albums over and over again. I've sort of got to this place where I want to be spending all my time listening to new music all the time. Always new music, always listening to something new. I don't, if it's something I know, occasionally I'll pull out something I know and we'll listen to it, but I prefer to listen to something new. I want to hear something. I want to always be hearing new music, whether it's new or old. I want to hear something that's new to my ears, something that's interesting. There's so much music out there in the world. There's no way to hear it all, but I want to hear as much of it as I can, and that's my main passion. So I don't spend a lot of time repeated listening, even to great albums. I just don't do it. But going back to my teenage years, stuff I did listen to a lot then, and stuff I still play from time to time. Dr. Dre's The Chronic, of course, classic. And when this came out, played this a lot. Had multiple versions of that over the years, from cassette to CD to vinyl now. Another one that when it came out, played the crap out of CNC Music Factory. I'm Gonna Make You Sweat. Yeah, just there was one summer that this tape went in my Walkman, and it was pretty much glued into my Walkman all summer. All I listened to was TNT Music Factory, so that was another one I've listened to a lot. And then another one. This one's kind of a kind of an embarrassing one, but another one. When it came out, it was big. I was really into it, and I listened to it a lot. And that's Vanilla Ice to the Extreme. Another one I've had, cassette and then CD and then vinyl. Haven't really played that on vinyl very much, just because it's not that great, but it's more for nostalgia anyway. Okay, question number 10. Show an album with a crazy story, and I was struggling to come up with some sort of story to go along with an album I have in my collection. I'm sure there's something there, but I just recently had something happen to me that I thought was funny, and it's not necessarily not be a crazy story, but it's a funny story. Recently I decided I wanted to pick up some Bob Dylan reissues, or start getting some Bob Dylan reissues, because I have a lot of originals. They're not always in the greatest of shape. I want to collect Bob Dylan stuff, but I don't want to pay the prices for a mint original copy of Bob Dylan albums. He's mainly an artist that you want to have good sound quality for, just because it's kind of that sort of solo acoustic kind of stuff, or my preferred Dylan stuff is the more solo acoustic kind of stuff. So I went on Amazon and been shopping around. I saw that they had the Freewheelin' Bob Dylan or it was selling for around $16, which is really good price for a new piece of vinyl. And I thought, what the heck? I've been ordering a lot of vinyl lately since the stores are closed. I went ahead and placed my order, and a couple of days later it came here, and it says, I'll have to probably drop in a photo of this, but on the side it says the Freewheelin' Bob Dylan on it. So okay, cool. Tore it open. What's inside? That's not Bob Dylan. Even though there's a cool Bob Dylan cover on this album, this is not Bob Dylan, and it would be cool to get this if I didn't already have at least 3 different copies of it. So yeah, that was a sort of a funny story. I sort of had the Steve Carlson experience of ordering from Amazon and not getting what I ordered. So this is destined to go back to Amazon tomorrow. I just wanted to hold on to it until I did this video and talked about it. And yeah, 2 days later, I went ahead and reported it and told them I got the wrong thing, and they did finally send me Freewheelin' Bob Dylan in a couple more days. So not too bad. If you're into Bob Dylan and you're not sure, this We Are Vinyl pressing of Freewheelin' Bob Dylan is awesome. I was really impressed with it. It's pressed at Record Industry, super quiet. I don't think there was a pop or click on this whole thing. Just super quiet. Sounds incredible, and as I said, a great price. So yeah, really nice to get this in the collection. Okay, question number 11. Record collecting pet peeves. The first one that came to mind was what I call the bull in the china shop shoppers. Yeah, sometimes you'll go into, whether it be a thrift store or a record store or whatever it may be, it could be even a Target or whatever. People flip through records and everything's just all disheveled, and the records are leaning forward, and they just walk away, and it's all just a mess, and it just freaking annoys the crap out of me that people are, they're handling the records really rough. They just have no respect at all. They leave things all disheveled, leave things just not nice at all. Have some respect, take some care, be gentle, pretend like these are your records that you're looking through, and that's really a big pet peeve of mine, is that people who just have no respect when they're shopping, even if it's cheap thrift store records. Somebody out there wants those records, no matter what they are. So be gentle, be nice. Another pet peeve of mine is reissues of things that don't really need to be reissued. I'll point to the Vinyl Me Please Essential Album of the Month. This month is Stevie Nicks' Belladonna, and that's a dollar bin record all day long. Why did they feel the need to reissue that? I don't understand that. And every record store day, it seems like there's a couple of dollar bin type records that are reissued for record store day. There's so many more hard to find records, and if they if Vinyl Me Please wanted to reissue something, why don't you reissue like Buckingham Nicks or something like that, something that's still in that wheelhouse, that's more difficult to find, more expensive. So yeah, reissuing things that don't really need to be reissued is another pet peeve of mine. Question number 12, an album or genre people would be surprised to know you like. And there's probably not too much surprise with anything I show, because I show pretty much everything and anything. And if you've watched any of my videos before, I listen to a lot of different types of things, so there's not really much surprise. But had this group that I hadn't shown in a while. I decided to pull them out again, and that is Camelot. Camelot are a progressive metal group they're actually out of Tampa, Florida, but the members are all from I think they're from like Norway or Finland or somewhere like that. So yeah, it's like a progressive metal kind of stuff. Not really what people normally see me showing. That is their album, The Black Halo, from 2009. I do like that. And this is their album, Ghost Opera, from 2007. So yeah, this is an artist that people might not think I would like, but I do enjoy it. I do enjoy the progressive metal type stuff from time to time, so I have this in my collection. Question number 13, a record from the year you were born. And as I mentioned earlier, I was born in 1977. Lots of great albums came out in 1977, but I decided to pull this one out, and that is Steely Dan's Asia. Classic of theirs, and a classic 70s album, and from the year I was born, 1977. Question number 14 is show a 10-inch record or share your opinion on 10-inch records. And I'm not a fan of 10-inch records, but I'll buy them, and I do have a few here that I've picked up over the years. There's not really any way to store them well. Like, they kind of have to have their own place, and it's annoying in that respect. And I'd rather, if you're going to do something like an EP or something, just put it on a 12-inch piece of vinyl, and maybe put it all on one side and etch the other side, or just spread it out and do it at 45 RPM or something different. Put it on a 12-inch so it fits in our collections nicer. I'm not a real huge fan of 10-inch records. There's the Jimi Hendrix Merry Christmas and Happy New Year 10-inch music on vinyl. There's a record store day thing. There's an EP I picked up, Baby Alpaca. This is a David Bowie thing. I forget what this is. Oh, this was a record store day thing. Sue and It's a Pity She Was a Whore. Oh, another group I love is Placebo. This is their 10-inch EP. I forgot I had this one. Black Angels, Phosgene Nightmare. This was another record store day thing. A lot of record store day 10 inches. Mad Season. I think this was a VC, or not a VCLT, but a contest thing I got once. And what's this last thing here? This is a Church's 10-inch that came from Vinyl Me Please one month as an extra. I was glad to get this. I do like the group Church's. It's another group that I'll sort of pick up without hearing first. 10 inches, they're okay, but I don't really love them. That's kind of my thoughts on it. Question number 15, share an interesting fact about an album or a song. And I'm not great with facts or details and stuff like that. But I decided to pull out this King Crimson Lizard album. And up here in the eye, under Crimson, is a drawing of the Beatles. The artist decided to add that in there as a little sort of Easter egg kind of thing. So get the Beatles on a King Crimson album. Question number 16, show an album with an animal on the cover. Pulled out two here. The first one I got here, Fleetwood Mac's Tusk. Haven't shown that in a while. Got the dog on here, being a dog and biting somebody. A little bit more obscure, I guess. Father John Misty's I Love You, Honey Bear. It's got all these kind of different creatures and animals all over the cover. I think that one's pretty cool. I do like the cover on this one. Question number 17, show an album with crazy artwork. And I was just recently listening to this in my my deeper listening that I do to albums before they end up in the collection, or whether they don't end up in the collection. And I was recently listening to this album by Boudewijn de Groot. This is his album Picnic. Dutch artist. This is a VCLT from Stefan. And this is sort of a pop psych kind of artist, pop psych kind of album. Apparently, according to him, really a pop psych classic, and yeah, really nice album. The cover is more psychedelic than the music is, but it is a nice pop psych album, and definitely a really cool cover. So, yeah, question number 18, show a really good album that you can find for cheap. This one you're gonna find in thrift stores, dollar bins, flea markets, and it's a great album, classic album. That's Santana's self-titled debut. Awesome album. Definitely another one that people should have in their collection, and not an expensive album. Even if you do have to pay money for this, don't pay more than $5 for it, I would say. Yeah, it's definitely a very common album. They sold millions and millions of these. It's a great album, and one you should at least give a chance to. Maybe it'll end up in your collection. Question number 19, show an album with an acquired taste. Struggled with this one a little bit. Finally landed on The Knife with Shaking the Habitual. The Knife are, I don't know how you would classify them. Electronic group, a pop group, electronic pop, but not dance music. This is very political music. It has sort of a punk sort of vibe in that respect, where it's very political. End Extreme Wealth. It talks about gender issues and other things like that. Yeah, definitely takes a little bit of time to get into and really sort of understand an album with an acquired taste. An album I do really love, and I'm glad is in my collection. Lastly, question number 20, show your most recent find, and this has been changing day by day around here. It seems like almost every day the mailman is dropping off a 12-inch sized package to the doorstep here. That's just how it's been going lately. Buying a lot online, and this was the most recent one they dropped off. One has been on my wish list for quite a while, from the artist Kavinsky. This is their 2013 album Outrun. This is a very dark synthwave kind of album. Imagine if you're driving on the interstate system, freeway system around Miami in the summertime in a Ferrari Testarossa with the top down, and it's night or right around sunset, and this is the soundtrack to that drive. Yeah, really cool album. Something I've been listening to digitally for a long time, on my wish list for a long time, and I finally just said, the heck with it. I'm gonna go ahead and just buy it, since I'm doing a lot of online shopping now, and I finally got this on vinyl. So, physical copy of Kavinsky's Outrun. So if you're into synthwave or stuff like that, electronic kind of dark wave kind of stuff, this is definitely one to check out if you haven't already. Highly recommended. Good stuff. So yeah, that does it for the Stay the F at Home and Listen to Records vinyl tag. Hope you're all doing well. As I said, hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you for watching if you made it this far. If you aren't already, be sure to subscribe, leave me a thumbs up, leave me any questions or comments you have down below. And yeah, have a great day. We'll see you again next time. Cheers.